Got a little bee who is wondering what's going on. I'm always surprised that when you pull off the cover, they don't panic. You think that they would panic because there's sunlight where it used to be dark. They never seem to care. And I use a hive tool because the bees use propolis, like glue, to stick everything together. You can't just lift it apart because it's glued together with the propolis. So you use this, you wedge it between the pieces, and you can pry it apart.
Oh, wow.
So you can see they're building a little bit of burr comb along here. They like to do that. Whenever they can fill up a space with comb, they will.
Does comb taste?
Well, the comb is what they do. Two things with comb. They lay their eggs in it, and they raise their brood or their babies in comb, and they also store their honey in it. So if you come over here with your camera, you can see they're building the comb in there. This is a super. This just has honey. Down below will be some brood comb. I'll see if I can pry this out so we can take a look at the honeycomb. I try really hard to not squish the bees. Unfortunately, they get crunched once in a while, but I try really hard not to. And yes, there are people who do this without even gloves or a veil on. I'm just not that cool. See that?
That is so beautiful. Blythe, look at what they've made.
So here it's capped. This is finished honey that's ready to be stored for a long time. It'll keep like that forever, like for hundreds of years.
Can I see the other side, please?
This side is not capped yet. They haven't finished that honey. There's probably some nectar in there, but it's not finished yet. They need to fill it up more and evaporate it, because if they cap it when it's too young, it'll ferment.
But what's that huge one?
The honeycomb, they make the honeycomb really big sometimes. And
Can
they're
you
actually.
taste some honey?
Can you taste some?
Sure.
Let's see. I wonder if this has honey. I would love to let you taste some honey. Here. We're gonna steal some of their honey, okay? Here, can we get this under your veil? Let's put this back in, okay? And then I'm gonna just tuck this under your veil so you can taste it. Over here. So this has both the wax and the honey, okay? Got it? There you go. How is that? Good?
What do you think, Blythe?
Yummy.
So probably tomorrow I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go through this for the first time in the spring. I'm going to switch these two boxes down here because one of them is empty, one of them will have brood. I want to switch them. Just basic beekeeping stuff. We're not going to do that right now. I just want you guys to see what the inside of a hive looks like.
Hilary, thank you.
No problem. Do you want to get a close-up of the bees?
Yeah. Now, what do you do with the bees that are outside of the hive now? Will they automatically make their way back in?
Yeah, there are two basic classes of worker bees. There are the ones that the field bees that go out and collect nectar. They're the ones that are flying back and forth, and they orient themselves so that they know how to get back in the hive. They look around and they see how to get back in. And then there are the ones that are younger. The younger ones stay in the hive, and if you were to shake a younger one out, she might not find her way back into the hive. So I try pretty hard not to do that. We'll be right there.
So all the ones that are outside the hive are workers?
Yeah, there are actually three types of bees, okay? There are the workers, which are the ones that do the work.
Queen.
The queen. And what else?
The ones that stay inside.
Well, the drones. The drones are the boys, okay? Drones don't do anything except for breed the queen. But the workers, they're workers that stay in the hive, and then when they get older, they go outside of the hive to collect what? What do they collect?
Nectar.
Right, nectar and pollen. And if you'll come over here, you'll see some, they have yellow on them. What do you think? Just watch. Watch for, like, okay, that one says yellow. Do you see the yellow on his legs, her legs? Do you know what that yellow is?
Nectar.
It's pollen. they take both nectar and pollen from the flowers. And they use that pollen to feed their brood.
Do you know what their brood is, Blythe?
See, that one had the yellow on it? And I see some that have pollen coming in.
The brood is the colony, right?
It's the babies. Baby bees.
So the baby bees stay far deep down inside of the comb?
Yeah, this top box is for honey, and then these two are brood chambers.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They
Okay.
fill up both, but over the winter,
Can you see the brood chambers?
we'd have to have the smoker going. I don't have my smoker right now. We'd upset the bees a lot if we started moving all that around. I don't want to do that right now. But they start their time here and they move up over the winter, and so like I need to switch them just to. That's just what you do.
So in the winter they stop moving, they slow down, they're down there in that bottom chamber, and then they just completely kind of freeze.
They cluster, and I came out here the first cold night when it went down to like 15 below zero. I came out and I put my ear against the box and I could hear them humming in there. They cluster so that they're all together, and they keep themselves warm, so they are active all winter long. They'll even, from what I've heard, they'll even raise 1 or 2 batches of brood over the winter.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And do they put the queen in the middle? Like, are the bees on the outside, they can freeze off and die?
Yeah.
Oh.
You'll see there are lots of dead bees on the ground here because they just die off. A worker only lives for like 6 weeks, at least during the summertime, 6 weeks. And so they just die off, a lot of them during the winter. But that's okay because they're raising more.
Blythe, do you have any other questions?
No.
Hey, pick the string.